So any questions over those? Draw the line, graph the line, and shape. The only other thing, we have a couple absolute value ones that I want to go over. We would have gone over them in section 6. That's about the only thing out of there that I would wanted you to cover, so we can just cover it here right along with this section. Y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x. Minus 2. Greater than or equal to the absolute value of x minus 2. So this one's not going to be a line. What do we know about absolute value again? What's the property of it? It's always positive. So your absolute value, you can't have points that are down here. The absolute value of x, if you just had the absolute value of x, it would look something like that. And you don't have to draw that. But that's what absolute value functions look like, because it goes all the way down, but it can't go below that line, so then it has to turn and go back up. That's what the absolute value, all of the equations will look like. So when we get done with this problem, you will have a V graph somewhere, and then you will either shade inside or outside. And again, you do a test point just like we've been doing. You'll test a point in here or out here and shade accordingly. So back to this problem. Again, I'll show you how to type that in your calculator since it's got the absolute value in it. Still hit your y equals, just like you're going to put a regular equation in there. So to put your absolute value, you hit second and 0. That's your catalog key, and it lists all those kind of functions. I think there's another way to do it, but I'm not sure of it right now. But if you hit your second 0, we'll bring up all those functions. It just so happens absolute value is the first one. ABS with an open parenthesis is the first one listed. So if you hit enter, it will be right there next to your y equals. So you have y equals ABS and an open parenthesis. So absolute value of what in this problem? X. So you hit your variable key. And that's the only thing that's in the absolute value, right? So you want to go ahead and close your parentheses. I'm not sure, I haven't looked at all the problems, but you may have a problem like that, absolute value of x minus 2. So you put x minus 2 in there before you close the parentheses. But again, that's not the case here. So we close the parentheses, and then we hit minus 2, and we hit graph. And it should be the same V that I drew up here, except what? It shifted down to because you have the minus 2. The absolute value of x cannot be negative. But if we shift it down to, that's the only way it can be below that line. So again, you still have to get accurate points. I don't want you to just plot at your calculator and then draw something that looks close. I still want you to actually plot points. And we know 0, negative 2 is on there. Can we see where it crosses the x-axis? You know that for sure. Hit second and graph again. It gives you a whole list of points to put in there. So where does it cross the x-axis on each side? And we got this side. Where's it cross on the left side? That's this one. But you're right. You're in the wrong order. Negative 2, 0. So would this one be dotted or solid? What? This one's a solid. Again, the sign tells you, since it's got the line underneath it, that it is a solid line. And you can now sketch it, now that you've got accurate points. So does this one go through 0, 0? No, so we can put that in as a test point. Again, so 0 greater than or equal to absolute value of 0 minus 2. So that would become 0 greater than negative 2. Is that true? What? Is 0 greater than negative 2? Yes. True statement. So again, we plugged in this point that resulted in a true. So where would we shade, inside or out? Inside. Questions on any of those? We only have a couple of those. Which is 1 through 6, 2 through 41. On page 104.